Welcome back to the Upper Echelon Podcast, where we keep it real and we keep it jiggy over here. Cause why? Cause we ain't never ever scared. Y'all know that. Now hit the like button on your way in. Also make sure that you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of any time that I live stream in the future or any time that I post content in the future as well. If you are not subscribed to my channel already, make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook, not very much so active anymore on Patreon, but I'm gonna work on that, y'all. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute. Also subscribe to this channel. Don't forget about my main page, y'all. I am still trying to work on building up my main page. This is a backup. So if you're not subscribed to my main page is the Upper Echelon Podcast. And so you would have to type in at upper, the number 2 and the letter U, at upper 2U. And that's my main page. So if you subscribe to this page, make sure that you subscribe to my main page as well, because I will be active on that main page coming very soon in November when it's remonetized. Okay, so I'm going to be streaming on both pages. Who knows? Like what I might do is I might use that channel for my La Truth content, and then I might start using this channel for other things. Who knows? Okay, so we'll see. Hey Alexis, hey everybody in the room. I'm gonna do my shout outs in a minute. What I also wanted to say before I get into my content is I've been thinking about like a schedule. I know I've been talking about that for a really, really long time. And when I say a schedule, I mean maybe not a schedule for like 3 days a week or 4 days a week, but at least 1 day a week. I want to guarantee content to you guys, whether it be in the form of a pre-recorded live, or if it's an actual live stream like this one, or if it's even just a video. And then on another day of the week, preferably on a Sunday or a Saturday, or maybe, no, preferably on a Friday or a Saturday, I want to do a late night live stream with you guys where we do a mental health check-in with each other. You guys can tell me, if you're open to it being out in the public, how your week was, how you did throughout the week, what issues you had to face, what obstacles you had to overcome, and what some of the challenges were that you had to face throughout the week. So I think that'd be a great way to build with you guys, a great way for me to open up to you guys, and a great way for you guys to open up to me, because I do think it's important for, my subs for me to get to know my subs a little bit better. I think that'd be a dope build right there. And I also think that it's a great way to keep each other in check. So I am going to be doing that. You heard it here first. I'm going to say every Friday night. Probably around 10 or 11 Central Time. So if it's 10 here, it's going to be 11 where you guys are if you're Eastern Time. So it's going to be a very late night live. And I'm doing that because I am a night owl, and I'm usually up late on the weekend. So it's more convenient for me. And I feel like all of the other lives throughout the day will probably be over with. So I'm going to hop in there on a late night. So let me do my shout outs. So hold me to that, y'all. Every Friday, we're going to do a mental health check-in, and we're going to build with each other and talk about, what happened with us throughout the week, how we overcame it, and maybe we didn't overcome it, and we still going through it, and we can shoot out ideas amongst each other. Hey, good morning, Gorgeous. Hey, Robin Loss. Hey, Ramona. Hey, Ronithia Wilson. Hey, Monet. Gigi Edwards. Get them likes up, y'all. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Hey, Treasure Life, Lativia, Tracy Hicks. Of course, Alexis, Chanel. How you doing, Queen? Tina, how do you say that? Bethany, Blessed Beyond Measure, Scorpio Goddess. Okay. So I'm gonna pull up an article real quick, y'all, because if y'all don't know, first of all, covering the whole P.Diddy thing is very complex. And that is, I'm trying my hand at it because I want to challenge myself when it comes to blogging and covering stories. Now, because I'm a new blogger, I gotta admit, covering the whole Diddy story, it is complex because there's a lot going on. It's like literally every single day something new is happening in the case. There's something new popping up. Somebody else made a statement, new victims coming forward. So, hey, Lisa, hey, Lero, I hope I said that right. New stuff coming up. So it's really difficult to stay focused and keep up with everything that's happening in that case, especially when you got other stuff going on. So my plan is to, even if I do deliver the news late, or whatever the case is. I'm gonna make sure that the people that are not really keeping up with the story can come to my channel and kind of stay up to date on what's going on with the Diddy story, because we don't want to fall too far behind. Now, one of the newest developments that I just heard is that P. Diddy's mom, and her name is Janice Combs. This is Janice and her son here. Janice just recently made a statement to Local 10 News. Now, I found a statement and I found an article on local10news.com. So I want to get into a little bit of what P. Diddy's mom has to say and what statement she made to the news. Okay, so let's get into that real quick. And then after that, what I want to get into, because I didn't really cover this when it happened, but if you guys are not aware, Suge Knight actually did a interview from jail called with Chris Cuomo. And he gave a lot of new details about what he knew about P. Diddy personally, some of the things that he was aware of that went down at some of those freak off parties. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to actually play the live or play the video, because as y'all, I don't know if y'all was over in Amber Live, but StreamYard be tripping. So when you try to stream videos, it be tripping sometimes. So what I might do is just read the article. I don't know. But Suge Knight did come out and let some people know of some of the things that he has experienced. And he even gave P. Diddy some advice about dealing with the situation that he's in while he's in jail out there in New York. And as most of you guys know, the conditions of that prison or that jail facility are historically very horrible conditions. So I just know that P. Diddy is, and this is not me expressing any sympathy for him at all. It's just an observation. So I feel that P. Diddy is most definitely facing a severe culture shock right now. Because if you can imagine living the type of lifestyle where he has any and everything at the tips of his fingers, whatever food he wants, whatever clothes he wants. He has the type of money to where he doesn't have to be uncomfortable if he doesn't want to. And that's the type of life that he's been living for a really, really long time. So, you know, it's not sympathy that I am expressing. What it is just awareness and an observation. And I'm quite sure that, you know, jail is uncomfortable for anybody, regardless of who you are. But could you imagine living the lifestyle of the super, super, super rich and famous, and then you get thrown into one of the worst prisons? You know, come on, like that's you know, the chickens most definitely are coming home to roost. Hey, Christy, welcome. Hey, welcome, Terry. Welcome, A. Stokes and Lisa. Okay, so let's get into this article, y'all. So, Sean Diddy Combs' mother, Janice Smalls Combs, released a statement to Local 10 News Sunday about her son's troubles. In a statement, she says her 54-year-old. I didn't realize that P. Diddy was 54 either, y'all. I didn't realize he doesn't look 54 to me. Some people say he look old. He don't look 54 to me. I guess money keep you looking, you know. 54-year-old son may have lied about the domestic violence that was caught on video, but that doesn't mean he is guilty of the SAs that he is accused of. This is what she's saying. She goes on to say, my son is not the monster they have painted him to be. She said in her statement, according to Fort Lauderdale-based attorney Natalie G. Figures, a Houston-based attorney announced on Tuesday that he was representing 102 victims of Diddy's alleged sexual misconduct. The music executive also awaiting trial for sex trafficking at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. I want to do a little research on that detention center, because if I'm correct, I could be wrong. Y'all could check me if I am, but I believe that that's where Epstein was. So this is the complete statement. It's about 2 pages long. This is the actual statement that she released to the Local 10 News. Hey, Sonia. Okay, so let's see. So, all right. Janice Smalls, the mother of Sean Combs, through her unsigned counsel and on the behalf of Combs' family, released the following statement. She says, I come to you today as a mother that is devastated and profoundly saddened by the allegations made against my son, Sean Combs. It is heartbreaking to see my son judged not for the truth, but for the narrative created out of lies. I bear witness what seems to be like a public lynching of my son before he has had the opportunity to prove his innocence is a pain too unbearable to put into words. Like every human being, my son deserves to have his day in court to finally share his side and prove his innocence. Now I'm gonna stop it right there real quick to add a little bit of my commentary. Now, listen, I find it a little bit disturbing that his mother did not come out and release a statement when the video of Cassie getting whooped on came out. Now I'm just like I see it. Now I can understand her sentiments from a mother's standpoint. No mom, regardless of what their child did, let's be honest, no mother wants to see their child in jail. No mother wants to see their child uncomfortable. So I get that. However, for you to release a public statement when you've been quiet after all of this time, you've had nothing to say, you've had no opinion, you have not released any statement giving any sympathy towards any of his victims. And then regardless of whether or not you want to accept what he's being accused of as far as the racketeering charges and the sex trafficking charges, you did not release any statements regarding the video that came out between the assault with Cassie. Now, so to me, that's not right. That's not right. Hey, Cancer 66 is not. What she say? Lisa said it started long ago before P. Diddy. P. Diddy's mom is a part of his BS. I actually saw a video. I wouldn't call it a documentary, but I actually saw a video talking about the history of P. Diddy's mom. And I'm actually going to do a project on her. So y'all keep a lookout on that, because I think that it's important to look and see where somebody came from and where some of their issues may have derived. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry, I had to check something. So I'm gonna continue on with her statement, but I had to call that how I saw it. No way in the world that she should be coming out giving a statement about how her son is being treated unfairly when we saw footage and video of him whooping on that woman. Blessed Beyond Measure says living in the prison like he's owned the prison. He done fired his current legal staff team for not defending him on all the allegations against him allegedly. Now, I did read a little bit up about that. I did see an article saying that he hired a whole new legal team. But from what I'm understanding, he hired a new legal team because he wants to have another hearing for a bail. So I guess he's blaming his legal team as to why he was denied bail. But I really think it's a waste of time. They're not going to give him bail. In a minute, I want to play his, matter of fact, let me pull this up and I'm gonna read the rest of her statement, but I want to pull something up real quick. Now, I don't know if it's gonna screw up my audio or what, but I do want to let's see. I do want to play, if y'all didn't see it, his arrest out there in New York. Now, the grievance is that they have, hold on, let's see if I can pull the arrest video. Okay, there it is. And this was, I found this video on the TMZ YouTube channel. Now, I'm gonna get into the rest of this statement. I don't want to get too far off topic. Now, one of the problems that Diddy has, and one of the problems that his attorneys are having with how he is quote unquote being treated, is they don't feel like he should have been arrested. According to his attorneys, he came to New York to turn himself in. According to his attorneys and according to the statements that I heard, if you turn yourself in versus being apprehended, then you cannot be detained. Now, I don't know how true that is, but that's something that I heard earlier today. So let's get into the rest of what she said. She then goes on to say, I'm not here to portray my son as perfect, because he is not. He has made mistakes in his past, as we all have. My son may not have been entirely truthful about certain things, such as denying he has ever gotten violent with an ex-girlfriend when the hotel surveillance showed otherwise. Sometimes the truth and a lie become so closely intertwined that it becomes terrifying to admit one part of the story, especially when that truth is outside the norm or is too complicated to be believed. This is why I believe my son's civil legal team opted to settle the ex-girlfriend's lawsuit instead of contesting it until the end, resulting in a ricochet effect as the federal government used this decision against my son by interpreting it as an admission of guilt. I feel like what she's saying is a bunch of BS, girl. You going all the way around the world and around the corner. It ain't no. Some of these women. Hold on one second. She's using all of these words. Y'all know how I feel about gaslighting. She's gaslighting. This is nobody's fault. And then that's what it's coming off as. This is really nobody's fault other than his. So she's going around saying that people are not treating him fairly. Well, he didn't treat his victims fairly. So I think that this was a very silly, stupid, and unwise decision on her part to speak to the news outlet and give this statement. She shouldn't have done that. She shouldn't have done that, because what it shows is not only is he not holding himself accountable for the pain and the hurt that he has done to all of these victims over the years, but it also shows that he's being enabled on the back end. That's what it shows. This is not support. This is enabling someone. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree with this statement. I'm gonna continue on with it in a minute. Let me read this. Tracy Hicks says, "Who is your son? All high-profile cases get treated in this way. It's called opinion. She wants to shut the noise. A mother's love, no matter what he has done." I understand it as well, but what she has to, and you're right. All cases get treated. All cases get treated like this at a certain point. At a certain point, I mean, not at a certain point. All cases get treated like this. Period. Yes, the legal system in the United States of America is that you are innocent until proven guilty. However, we know that that's not necessarily true. Once a high-profile case gets put out into the open and people know about it, the court of public opinion definitely will try and convict you long before you're ever tried and either convicted or exonerated in a court of law. So that's just how life works. And, it just is what it is. So her making that statement, I don't believe that was the proper thing to do. Now, we got somebody in the chat that got a difference of opinion now. I might drop the link because I ain't heard nobody that have a difference of opinion on the P. Diddy topic just yet. Now, I don't know. Now, I ain't heard nobody that's actually had this opinion. This kind of threw me off. So Blessed Beyond Measure says that P. Diddy was a victim at some point. Clive Davis' name came up allegedly. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna answer. I'm gonna speak on that, but I'm gonna read the rest of this really quick. Okay. It is important to recognize that none of us, regardless of our status, are immune to fear or mistakes. Not being entirely straightforward about one issue does not mean my son is guilty of the repulsive allegations and the grave charges leveled against him. Well, man, why did he have 1,000 bottles of baby oil? Can you answer that? What? Okay, let me keep going. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted. Let me take a sip of water because I'm. You know what? I'm gonna give this about an hour of my time because this is a lot. Hold on. Child, let me tell you something. I had to take a sip of my water on that one. Many individuals who were wrongfully convicted and later exonerated had their freedom taken from them, not because they were guilty of the crimes they were accused of, but because they didn't fit the image of what this society considers to be a good person. History has shown us how individuals can be wrongly convicted due to their past actions or mistakes. That part at the end was true. Now she's right on that part. Yes, there are people that are in prison to this day who have been wrongfully accused. However, ma'am, I don't believe that your son is one of them. I don't believe that your son is one of them. And she's also right about something else. Sometimes people are apprehended and held in jail until their court date, and it's found that they are exonerated. They were innocent of the crime. But that's not always the case. Sometimes, and this is coming from a criminal justice major, baby, somebody who has experience in the criminal justice field. Sometimes people are not exonerated because they're innocent. And I ain't gonna argue with nobody, but just look at the O.J. Simpson trial. Okay? Look at OJ. Sometimes people are exonerated not because they're innocent, but sometimes people are exonerated because of the lack of proof and physical evidence. Sometimes it could be very, very, very clear and obvious that someone is guilty of something, but the way that the law works is if the evidence cannot be provided, then they get off with it. And that's not fair, but life isn't fair. But that's how it happens sometimes. Okay. We're gonna get into Clive Davis in a minute, y'all. I told you this is a very layered, this is a very much so layered situation because this stuff goes back years. Okay. I need that to be the I'm gonna keep that up there for a minute. Diddy was a victim at some point. So Lupac says a few people did interviews from back in the day and said that Diddy is not uncommon, that what Diddy did is not uncommon, and that he just continued on the cycle. They said he too was a victim at one point. I'm gonna speak on that. Okay, so I'm gonna speak on that. Yep. I'm gonna speak on that. Okay, so let's go to the page 2. Watching the world make jokes and laugh at my son's life crumbling before our eyes is something I can never forget. It is truly agonizing to watch the world turn against my son so quickly and easily over lies and misconceptions without ever hearing his side or affording him the opportunity to present his side. These lies thrown at him are motivated by those seeking a financial gain and not justice. These individuals saw how quickly my son's civil legal team settled his ex-girlfriend's lawsuit, so they believe they can receive a quick payday by falsely accusing my son. False allegations of SA throughout true victim of sexual violence from getting the justice they deserve. To make matters worse, the federal government is now using these lies to prosecute my son. So now she's saying the federal government lied on. This injustice has been unbearable for our family. The worst part of this ordeal is watching my beloved son to be stripped of his dignity, not for what he did, but for what people choose to believe about him. I ask his supporters, fans, colleagues, friends, and the public to not judge him before you've had the chance to hear his side. I beg you to think about those who have been wrongfully persecuted, to remember that not everyone has made mistakes, that not everyone who has made mistakes in life deserves to have their entire existence judged by a single action or a few mistakes. My son is not the monster they have painted him to be, and he deserves the chance to tell his side. I can only pray that I am alive to see him speak his truth and be vindicated. Respectfully submitted on behalf of Janice Smalls Combs and the Combs family. Now, I don't think that everything that she said in that statement was entirely wrong. I do agree that some people, some people are wrongfully accused. And that is the reason why we have a court system in the United States of America, because you have to have the evidence provided. You have to have the right representation to present the evidence properly. You have to have 12 people that are unbiased to judge you after looking at the evidence. You have to be treated fairly. You have to be given a chance. But what, I'm sorry if y'all hear that beeping. That's my washing machine, my dryer. I'm sorry. You guys have to, what his mother has to understand is that she can't control the public. The public has heard a lot of statements from a lot of different victims. And what his mother also has to understand is it is very difficult to tell someone that they haven't been through something if they're coming to the forefront and saying that they experienced a sexual assault. That's not something that people want to do to a so-called victim of violence. Now, you never want to say that, oh no, I don't think that happened to you. Now, if evidence is provided that it didn't happen, that's one thing. Now, if evidence is provided that it didn't happen, that's another. However, Janice Combs has to understand, P. Diddy's mom has to understand that this is how life is. Once you accuse of something, especially with the the severity of what her son is being accused of, the public is going to have an opinion. Her son is a celebrity. Before her son went to jail, people had an opinion on the things that P. Diddy does. He's a celebrity. They're going to have an opinion. There's no way to talk his way out of it. Now, we're going to get, before I play the arrest video, we're going to get on the Clive Davis situation. I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, because if you ask me, what's going on, hey, Sage in the city, I don't know what, listen, from what I hear, he had an interesting childhood. I'm going to do a project on Janice Combs in the upcoming weeks, his mom in the upcoming weeks. But what I will say is, when it comes to Clive Davis, I believe that deserves a live all in itself, because according to a lot of people, a lot of different celebrities, a lot of people have made very, very, crazy claims regarding Clive Davis. We know that P. Diddy was under Clive for quite some time. I don't know if y'all ever heard this story, right? But and this is just, before I get into the story, this is my opinion on that. I know what a Stockholm syndrome is, right? I understand what that is. And once you're underneath somebody's power for so long, even if what you see them doing is wrong, even if what you see that they're doing is wrong, you will still, at a certain point, after so many years of being under their control, you'll eventually join the dark side, for lack of a better term, or accept what's happening. So I can understand that he was under the control of Clive. But at what point do we, as an adult, say, you know what, what's happening here is wrong. What I'm seeing is wrong. How Clive is treating these other artists is wrong. I'm hearing rumors and allegations, and those things are wrong. Maybe in the past, what's happening to me and the things that I've seen go on in this industry is wrong. So at a certain point, the excuse can't be used, oh, but I was traumatized as well. Yeah, you probably were, but that's when, as an adult, you decide, hey, that wasn't right, and I shouldn't put someone else through that because I went through it. Same thing with R. Kelly. That was one of the things that a lot of his supporters and fans would say about some of the monstrous and disgusting things that he did to his victims. Well, at one point, R. Kelly was a victim when he was growing up, and he was a child. And that is true. If you study sexual deviant behaviors, yes, most times people that are victims do become perpetrators. So a lot of times, children that are victimized, or not even children, but young people, young vulnerable people that are victimized, do move on to become the victimizer. So I understand that. But it comes a point to where you, as an adult, have to have the responsibility to educate yourself on what is wrong and what is right, and not continue the cycle. That's your duty as an adult at some point. Now, I don't know, and now everything that I'm saying is alleged, you know what I mean? Let me read my disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, commentary, news reporting, teaching, and scholarship and research, so on and so forth. So this is what I want to tell y'all. I don't know if y'all ever heard this story, but do y'all remember seeing when TLC received their award? I forget what award it was. I might try to pull it up. But after they received their award, they actually told on Clive Davis in their acceptance speech. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up. They told on Clive Davis in their acceptance speech. They said that our album that we just made, we have generated, because back in the day, when I was a kid, TLC was one of the highest selling black female R&B rap groups out at that time. They had generated millions and millions and millions of dollars. What was the name of that album? Was it Crazy Sexy Cool? I don't know. It was I don't know. I was a kid. But I think it was Crazy Sexy Cool. I think that was the name of the album. I don't know. But anyway, they generated millions of dollars for it. And they received 50, it was either, I'm gonna look, let me look up I don't want to give y'all the wrong information. Let me see. I want to say they received like $50,000 a piece, y'all. And all of the rest of those millions of dollars was kept by Clive Davis. When they wanted to know where their money was, Clive Davis had it. And this is just an example of how he controlled these black artists. A lot of people said he had a hand in a lot of things that have gone on in Hollywood. Lupac said, yeah, basically they made pennies from all of that hard work. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because years later, I think this was even after Left Eye had passed away, years later, was the T-Boz. I don't know if y'all remember this, but Monique, the comedian, had her own talk show. T-Boz went on Monique's talk show, and T-Boz told Monique, man, look, they kept all of that money, and we all came up with a scheme, and Left Eye was the ringleader. As a matter of fact, Left Eye had just got out of jail for trying to burn down her ex-house. So Left Eye, fresh out of jail, and she met up with her girls, and they came up with a scheme to go to the, I think it was, I forget, go to the business building, whatever, Clive Davis's office, where all of the artists go, where all of the records are on the walls and stuff. And if you've seen the movie, you saw what happened. They literally went into the building and they held Clive Davis up with guns and everything else and demanded their money. And you want to know, during when they bust into the building, I believe they bust into a meeting that I don't even think Clive was there. I think P.Diddy was there. And P.Diddy was having some sort of board meeting. They were in there demanding their money as young black people that had been taken advantage of. And guess who called and told on them? P.Diddy. P.Diddy has been a stooge for Clive Davis for a long time. Good morning, gorgeous. TLC had a movie where, correct me if I'm wrong, y'all, but I want to say Lil Mama played on the movie. Am I wrong? Was it Lil Mama that played on the TLC movie as like T-Boz or something? Or I'm gonna look that up too. But let me show y'all the acceptance speech real quick, where they had to keep it real. Like, y'all can't keep doing this to us. When they were addressing Clive Davis, they did it respectfully, but they're saying, you know, they kept it a G. They said, we're broke. All of this work that we're doing, and we're broke. That's not what I wanted to show. Hold on. Let's see. And for Diddy, as another black artist, to see that these are other young black artists that are trying to get what's owed to them. You may not like how they're doing it, but for you to call it snitch, that shows P. Diddy has been a worker. He's been a stooge for Clive, been an ass kisser. For a long time. Let's see if now, like I said, this might get choppy. Who knows? You know how y'all know how StreamYard go. But if it get choppy, yeah, okay. So Lil Mama Drew and Keke Wright. I remember Keke Palmer. Did Keke Palmer play Chili? I feel like she played Chili. But let's play their acceptance speech. When And this them telling on, this was a very big moment in music history, because at this point, not many people spoke out against Clive Davis. Up until this point. Now I know after this, a lot of people spoke against Clive Davis. It was speaking of Clive, even Michael Jackson spoke out against Clive Davis. He called him a demon. Okay, so let's get into let's play this. Hopefully it play and it's not all choppy. If it is choppy, I apologize.
How you trying to say we short now? You know. Hello everybody. How y'all doing? Say hi, y'all. Say hey. All right. Is everything going like you want? Is everything going like we want? The track of our career? No. I can say this. Everything's not going the way we so-called quote unquote would want it to be or how it should be. But regardless, we're not gonna let anybody hold us down. This proves it, and we've done good regardless to all the problems. We'll be going on tour. Your managers like saying they're gonna keep dirty looks. That's okay. We're straight. Yes. We're gonna talk.
You said your career is not exactly what you would have wanted it to be, but this proves it. What's not on?
Step on it.
I'll tell it. We're not going to sugarcoat anything anymore. We've been quiet long enough. Can I get an amen?
Amen!
All right. Well, I'll put it to you this way. We are the biggest selling female group ever. 10 million albums worldwide. We have worked very hard. We have been in this business for 5 years. And we are broke as broke can be. And we're not like trying to be a sad story. If that was the case, we would have been on everybody's talk show talking about how broke we are. We haven't done that. I know it's hard to believe because we've sold so many albums, but it is possible. That's the deal here. So, and we're not happy at all. But for real, tonight, this is all we wanted. We wanted to win a Grammy, at least one, and we won 2. And that proves that we are the jam.
Chili, can you
wait? Because I heard Bo Diddley on a TV show yesterday, because the Legends of Rock thing is going on tomorrow, and he talked about how in the 50s that happened a lot. It's shocking that that's happening in the 90s.
It is shocking. It's still happening. I mean, we're examples right now. I mean, you don't understand the stress that we're under, and it's like to even find out that people are calling the academy talking about TLC's out of control and people who's supposed to have your back is very confusing. We don't understand that, and it's like, dog, you know what? It's okay because God is on our side, and He has blessed us, and we are thankful for everything thus far. And
nothing to hold us down.
Yeah.
Lisa. Hello, Lisa. Can you come up to the mic? I've got 2 questions for you. 10 million albums. How can you be broke? And 2, what's coming up with Left Eye Productions?
Okay. How do you make it run? How do I do what? Make it run? Well, first of all, 10 million albums, and how can we be broke? It's kind of, I can't go into everything right now, but trust me, you can sell 10 million albums and be broke if you have greedy people behind you.
And how do you turn it around so you don't sell 10 million albums and not be broke?
Stick together, learn from our mistakes, and just well, contracts and stuff is kind of hard to handle business when you're stuck in contracts that say certain things.
And to me, what also helps is when you tell it. When you're sitting around and you're like being hush hush about it, nobody knows. Everybody's looking at the videos. They're looking at the success of the album, so they're thinking that you're on top of the world. And when you're quiet like that, no one knows. So that's why we're telling it. We're not telling it to get anybody in trouble or to make anybody mad at us. We're just being very honest and truthful and telling y'all the truth. So, and that's just how it is. And hopefully, it can stop, because it is not 1950 anymore. It is 1996. Bye, y'all.
So as y'all can see, these black artists do a lot of work in the industry. They basically are slaves to their contracts. And the reason that I feel like it was important to play that is because P. Diddy is a part of that. P. Diddy understands the industry. P. Diddy understands that it's unfair and that artists don't receive the money that they should receive. And instead of either just sitting that one out and letting them do what they had to do to get their money, he actually called Clive Davis and told Clive Davis what TLC was at that office building doing. And to this day, I really don't know if TLC ever received their money. So that I'm not sure of. Terry said, Dave Chappelle tripped me out when he played P.Diddy, Dylan, and Fonzo in the Making a Band sketch. I didn't see that. Danny said, so nobody's parents thought about hiring a lawyer to look over their contracts. That's another thing too, but I'm really unsure about how old TLC was when they got into the industry. They look fairly young, but I don't know how old those girls were when they initially formulated their group and got their contract. So let me play this real quick because I want y'all to see the video. For me, when I saw it, I just felt like it was very surreal. I felt like it was very surreal. The fact that this man is in New York in a very expensive hotel, looked like he got on expensive clothing. He looked like he's with a team of people. And just the day prior or the evening prior, he was out taking pictures with his kids in front of the hotel, and he had no idea that this was going to happen. Now, what he said was, let me mute this. Hold on. What he said was that he had actually come to New York because what he was going to do was he was going to eventually turn himself in. Now, I don't know how true that was. His attorney said that it was not a surprise to him that he eventually ended up getting caught or apprehended because he knew that it was coming, but his intention was to turn himself in. So, But anyway, let me play this, y'all. Let's see. Let's see. So as you can see, he's here. This is him right here. If you guys can see my cursor, he's walking into the building. You can tell he has an entourage with him. They're following behind him. I don't know if those are bodyguards or what, but these two gentlemen right here in the white shirts, those are government officials that are coming to apprehend him. So he stops and he turns and he looks at them. And the way that he looks at them, for me, the body language, it really doesn't even look like he's surprised that he's getting ready to be apprehended. It seemed like he was expecting it. So he stops right here. They tell him to come on and he goes. He like, I know what this is about. You see the people with him don't say much. They're like, oh, well, we knew it was coming. So I think that he kind of prepared himself for it. Okay. He's going with him. And this is them, the government officials. They're walking him to the elevator in handcuffs. So for me, like, this is just a whole surreal moment in general. I don't think anybody would ever imagine that this would happen. As you can see, he's leaving now right back out the same door he came in, but this time he's leaving out in handcuffs. I think it's a surreal moment. I don't think that anybody really expected to ever see this day where P. Diddy would be put in handcuffs and taken to jail behind all of the rumors and allegations that we've all been hearing about P. Diddy's parties and all of the things that he's done in the past. I don't think that we ever thought that this moment would come. I know that I didn't ever think that it would come. There's a lot of things that were also apprehended from his home. If you saw the press conference that was done, I want to say yesterday, They spoke on a couple of things that were apprehended during some of the raids. They did show several AR automatic rifles, hundreds of rounds of ammunition were obtained in those raids. We already know about the baby oil, okay? Another thing that was very interesting about the weapons that were apprehended from his home is that the serial numbers were scratched off of the weapons. And if you don't know anything about that, I think that that's a little scary, because when they were having a press conference, they showed the pictures of the weapons. They showed that the weapons were defaced. In other words, the serial numbers were scratched off. I thought that was an interesting piece of information, because obviously with you can still track a bullet. Like, you can still track the bullet, because you have like a ballistics experts and stuff like that that would be able to do that. But it's really difficult when you have a weapon that doesn't have a serial number on it, because you can't track it. You can't track it. So if any illegal or unaliving or activity happened with the weapon, you won't be able to tell if that same weapon was involved in another crime. So I found it quite suspicious that his weapons had the serial number scratched off. Let me see. Because she could have been better than that. Yes, actually, too. A lot of people are talking about Jay-Z at this point as well. Y'all, I told y'all, and I want to say like a couple of lives ago, I want to say in like maybe 3 or 4 lives ago, that I did with the P.Diddy situation, probably one of my first lives where I covered the P.Diddy situation. I told y'all that, and I'm still going to stand on that, I feel like eventually something is going to come out to where Jay-Z is going to go down this same road. I think that he's guilty of a lot. I'll just say that. I think that he's guilty of a lot. And I think that eventually it's going to come out. I think what's going on right now is, like I said before, the chicken's coming home to roost. Let me play some of this before I get into what Suge Knight said in his interview with Chris Cuomo. Circle, yeah. It's a lot of twists and turns in this game. Yep. Everything coming together. Powerful people. You're the only one with a seatbelt, but she's the only one that passed away. Huh. Another thing that I think is going to end up coming out, before I move on, another thing that I think is going to end up coming out is that I don't know if you guys been keeping up with the whole situation with the Tupac trial. The man that was eventually apprehended and charged for the unaliving of Tupac. But inside of that court documentation during trial, P. Diddy's name came up. I think this number may be incorrect, but I think it's close, about 86 or 87 times. I think it's interesting that his name came up that many times during the trial if he didn't have anything to do with it. Now, I saw an interview with this guy. I don't even remember what the guy's name was. Thank you, Lisa Smith, for that super sticker. But what I found interesting was that he said, when you think about it, when people are all in one group together or all in a car together and they're coming to take everybody out, everybody's going to either get hit, scraped, whatever the case is, or unalive, because they're getting all y'all. They're not just going to get one of y'all. With the situation with Tupac, he said that situation was definitely a hit put on Tupac. And he said because there was other people in that vehicle, I think Suge Knight got grazed or something like that accidentally, but Tupac took all of the bullets. So he was definitely the target. Even the situation with Biggie Smalls when he was unalive, that was intentional, and the people that were with him did not get touched, just Biggie Smalls. When you look at situations where people gonna take you out. They taking your crew out too, unless it was a hit, and unless the people that are with you orchestrated that hit. And I really believe that there's more to it with that Tupac situation when it comes to P. Diddy. And I think that people are going to hear a lot of what they already expected. Okay. Good morning, Gorgeous. I thought you was a mod. You not? Brittany Tyner said, yeah, I remember you saying that, Upper, that he had something to do with Tupac and Biggie Smalls. They both rest in peace. I definitely believe he had something. Listen, I don't put anything past anybody that would, if you remember in Cassie's statement, she did say that Tupac, not Tupac, but in Cassie's statement, she did say, what's that rapper's name, y'all? Kid Cudi. So she was romantically starting to get involved with Kid Cudi after she separated from P. Diddy. But P. Diddy found out about it, and he actually told Cassie that he was going to blow Kid Cudi's car up. And the next day, his car got blown up. Now, if you ask me if somebody is capable of doing something like that, then they're capable of anything. That's my take on it. I don't put anything past him. Now, I don't think that the Kid Cudi's car getting blown up is a part of this case, but it is something that was in the court documentation in the civil suit that Cassie filed. Okay, so hey, Lisa Sis Smith said Beyonce too. You never listen. You never know. She married to him. She know what's going on. Discussed both of the best rappers alive, and Jay knew they had to go for him to blow. They discussed both of the best rappers alive, but Jay knew they had to go for him to blow up. Yeah. They both banked on Tupac's downfall. Oh, you saying for Jay-Z to blow up? Yeah, I agree with that. I could see that. Let me get into this statement. Okay. This is, let me stop sharing this screen of his arrest. Let me pull this down. Okay, let's see. Lupac said, I'm sorry, but based on the documentaries I watched, I think Diddy had something to do with Biggie's death also, because Biggie wanted to branch off on his own, and a lot of people said that Big and D wasn't close. Like Diddy made it seem. Like I said, shoot, I don't put nothing past them. I don't put anything past them after all of the stuff that I've researched and heard. Let's see. And I could see him doing something dirty like that. Okay, so let's get into, did I take it down? No. Okay, here it is. Let's see. Let's see if it's gonna play. Now, this is a little bit of the interview that Suge Knight did with Chris Cuomo. If y'all don't know, Suge Knight actually has his own podcast. Now, I really don't know how to find it or whatever, but from what I read and researched, Suge Knight has his own podcast. So, in jail, I think it's called Jail Talk with Suge or something like that.
About what you think and feel about Sean Diddy Combs and any allegations against him, given your history of animosity with him.
Well, first of all, I'm not calling you and nobody else getting nobody to believe anything regarding him. Like I said, and I always say, me personally, I don't jump up and down and cheer for no black man going to prison or any other man, any other human being going to prison. Because people think prison is always the answer. I'm not saying a lot of people don't deserve to do their time and
real quick, if you guys didn't know, Suge Knight is in prison for vehicular manslaughter. He ran somebody over.
Oh, at the same time, that's not no cheerful thing, because when you look at it, that man have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever affects him definitely affects his kids. Now, I know there's a lot of victims involved in it, and whatever affects them affects their kids. So it's not a good thing to be talking about any shit about the next person. But it's not a gray area with me. And at the same time, Puffy didn't react or get what he got or doing those things or those allegations by himself. He was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. And we can talk all day and say what's true, what's not true. Only true part about it is videos, conversations, and people can see what they've done. But for it being happy and proud and say what do people think, that's irrelevant.
So Suge,
it's just like I heard earlier today when Ray J was talking to TMZ. I got love for Harvey, but I see Charles always got some negative to say when it comes to West Coast people. And Charles tried to make a reference to say that, how do I feel when I'm in prison? Yeah, I'm in prison. I guarantee you I'm free more than Charles.
I want to get to the part where he's talking about
they told me at Universal and Interscope. He had an allegation from him, same thing. It went away. You take Jimmy Iovine. They told me at Universal and Interscope, they said, you know what? We can't deal with artists that gets in trouble. And your artist gets in trouble, they talk crazy.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
The shit off his shoe still stinks. But he's not the only one. They got all the tapes.
Now, when you talk about the tapes,
but this has been going on for a long time.
Hold on, Suge. Help us understand, because a lot of this stuff is a little inside baseball for people, right? Because they don't live the life, they don't know the world, they don't know the players.
Your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
That's just the recording from the prison. That's just saying that they record it, which obviously they do. Suge, help people understand, what tapes are you talking about? Who has them? And what kinds of things do you think they show?
Well, number one, luckily, I wasn't their first choice, their second choice. I wasn't no choice to be at those freaky parties. But you know what they show. They used to have a thing in the industry, right? And the sad thing about it, I don't like mentioning Usher. I don't like mentioning Justin Bieber. I don't like mentioning all these people that everybody know what time it is. So at the same time, they used to have a joke. They never played this joke with me. And they used to walk in the Interscope office. They'd go back there and they'd be like, hey, we passed the test. I said, we haven't did the test. One dude said, well, don't say that in front of Mr. Knight because he's going to take it offensive and hurt somebody. I said, well, whatever it is, I probably will take it offensive when somebody will get their ass whooped. You know, that was me in those days. But they used to have these guys, they used to call it the boiled egg test. They used to take a boiled egg, a raw boiled egg, and have those guys put their pants down and bend over and they stick it up their ass. The eggs break, they say they're not ready yet. They ain't put enough work in. This is Hollywood. So
did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? You can't tell me that he's lying about that. He said that in the industry, what they would do, P. Diddy included, is that when it would be a new artist to come in, they had to pass the test, and if they didn't pass the test, they would say they're not ready yet. And the test was the boiled egg test. And what they would do, according to Suge Knight, allegedly, is they would have the artist, male artist, bend over, take a boiled egg, and put the boiled egg in their anus. And if the boiled egg cracked, then they failed the test because it shows that they didn't put enough work in, meaning that their backside, their buttocks, their anus was not loose enough to hold a boiled egg without cracking it. You can't tell me that that's not sick. This is the type of stuff that they do in Hollywood, allegedly, according to Suge Knight. And at this point, Suge Knight is in prison. I think he's serving a 20 to life year sentence. I don't know. But I don't think he has any reason to make that up. So, let's see. Let me see this. Suge Knight, co-founder, former CEO Death Row Records, tells Cuomo that Sean P. Diddy Combs is not the only one to put younger artists through humiliating sexual acts, describing various industry practices throughout the decades. So Suge Knight, who has been serving a 28-year sentence in California for voluntary manslaughter, tells News Nation he sees Diddy's current situation as a product of a corrupt industry, saying Diddy stepped in this shit. Even if he wiped off his shoe, it still stinks. But he's not the only one. They all have tapes. Knight claims that Diddy was taught from people before him, and he did it to the younger people after him. It's an industry that, according to Knight, has a long history of sexually assaulting and abusing its newest members. He said one practice is called the egg test. Those guys, in quotes, those guys pull down their pants, pull their pants down and bend over. They stick the egg up there. You know what? The eggs break. They said if the eggs break, they're not ready yet, and they ain't put in enough work yet. This is Hollywood. So this is the type of stuff that they're doing in Hollywood. That these, macho men that, portray to be hard and gangster and stuff like that, they're behind the scenes doing these homosexual acts with these young artists. And I think that it's crazy. I think it's unfortunate. And I also think that it's wild that those types of things, and that P. Diddy probably did experience those things coming into the industry. I really would like to know, I don't know if Usher will ever come out and speak on his experiences, because he's never really gone into any real detail. He's always very vague about what he experienced with P. Diddy. Now y'all know that Usher was signed by L.A. Reid. Now L.A. Reid was actually going to drop Usher from the label because when he ended up hitting puberty, his voice started to change, and they didn't feel like they could use he would be any good anymore as far as musically. However, instead of L.A. Reid dropping him from the label, he ended up actually sending him to live with P. Diddy. I don't know exactly how long he lived with P. Diddy, but it was for quite some time. And while he was living with him, he participated in something called Flavor Camp. And Flavor Camp was something that they went to so that they can, be prepared for stardom, in so many words. And to be quite honest with you, they never really explained everything that Flavor Camp entailed. So I'm just interested in knowing. And even Usher in an interview said that he witnessed some interesting things that even he could not process at the age that he was. At 13 and 14, he was seeing sexual acts and all types of stuff like that. I remember seeing an interview with Gene Deal, where Gene Deal said that P. Diddy really did Usher wrong. Gene Deal said that he was actually in a room with P. Diddy while he was receiving fellatio from a woman inside their room. He said he kept his back turned to him. P. Diddy had his back towards the Gene Deal, and he was receiving fellatio from a woman inside the room. And Gene Deal was the bodyguard, so he was just in there. But what he said was, after he received fellatio from that woman, he said that Usher walked into the room, and P. Diddy allowed that woman to kiss Usher in the mouth, and Usher kissed her back right after she did that to him as a way to humiliate Usher. And he didn't even realize what was going on. He thought that, he's kissing a beautiful woman. He didn't realize that everybody else in the room knew that woman had just given P. Diddy oral sex not even 5 minutes before she kissed him in the mouth. And he did that to humiliate him. And that's what Gene Deal said. Now, also, I mentioned this in a previous live that I did on P. Diddy, where Gene Deal actually also spoke on the fact that Usher went to the emergency room during his time spent at Flavor Camp. And they never really spoke on why he went to the emergency room. Gene Deal knows why he went to the emergency room. Usher's mama knows why he went to the emergency room. And as a matter of fact, Usher's mom was working on the lawsuit, but she dropped it and never spoke of it again. And so when Gene Deal was being interviewed, and I want to say the interview was between Gene Deal and Vlad TV. And when Vlad asked, like, well, what happened? Gene Deal said his mama know. So I believe everything that Gene Deal is saying. Gene Deal not crazy. Jaguar Wright's not crazy. I don't know if y'all saw it, but Jaguar Wright recently did an interview with Pierce Morgan where she really spoke like on a lot of inside things that go on in Hollywood. And the fact that Jaguar Wright was allowed on a platform as big as Pierce Morgan, and she was able to just openly, freely speak on what she's experienced in Hollywood, and still no one has sued her yet. It just makes me believe that if ain't nobody suing her, then it must be some validity to the statements that she's making. Because I could see going on YouTube and making statements with a disclaimer, because, you know, Jaguar Wright done turned into a YouTuber at this point. But at the same time, if she's going on these large platforms like Pierce Morgan, and nobody's suing her for what she's saying, and she's not that crazy to make defamatory statements without being able to prove them. So I believe that she definitely has proof of everything that she's saying, because nobody responds to Jaguar Wright. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to hop up off of here. I had a good time with y'all last night. I mean, tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Oh, I had to get up and stretch. Oh, Lord. Let me pull this down. Yes. Oh, Lisa said Jaguar speaking the truth. She is, and a lot of people say that she got a mental health condition, something is wrong with her, which could be true as well. I really don't know. But what I do know is that you have to admit she's not being sued. Nobody is contesting what she's saying. Everybody is just ignoring what she's saying. But she went on. Come on, y'all, think about this. Jaguar Wright, and now y'all can go look it up on YouTube. I'm not gonna play it, but Jaguar Wright went on Pierce Morgan speaking out against Jay-Z and Beyonce, two of the most powerful people in the industry, and she didn't blink an eye. Now, Pierce Morgan was getting a little nervous, like, well, they're not here to defend themselves. Well, okay, well, we don't know that. Okay, well, this is alleged. So he was doing that. But Jaguar Wright was like, no, this is what happened. And Jay-Z is evil. And this is what he's doing. And blah, 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 blah. She was just running out, talking. And it just blew me away, because to this day, I've never seen anyone, I've seen YouTubers do it, yeah, but I've never seen anyone on a platform as large and as reputable as Pierce Morgan's platform to actually go on there and do and speak out against Jay-Z and Beyonce. As a matter of fact, most people are afraid to speak out against Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's like career suicide. But she did it. And, you know, she didn't face any repercussions from it. You don't see any defamation suits, not yet anyway, against Jaguar Wright. Millions of people saw that interview, and Jay-Z has said nothing. So I think that silence really does speak louder than words. The fact that he's not contesting anything that she's saying. Maybe it's because he can't. Kiana said her voice is amazing. She does have a pretty voice. Hey, Miss Sexy Ray. Let me read. I think I missed something. Maria said, Upper, did you watch the press conference done early this week by attorneys representing close to 100 people in the civil case against Diddy, representing minors as well? Yeah, I did see that. And I also saw that I think they said it was 25 minors included in those in those 100 people when the assaults occurred. So now it's new charges. Now it's not just victims. Now there's underage victims. So that adds, you know, a new layer to it, you know. But anyway, y'all, I'm about to get up off of here. I got to get ready for tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. This was a really, really good live. I want to address something real quick before I get off. Now, what I said was, and I'm not trying to bust anybody out or make anybody feel bad, but what I said was in the last live that I did was the inbox that I have over there on Facebook is only for if you want to send me like receipts, if it's a story that you want me to cover, if you want to talk to me, you need a shoulder to lean on, blah, blah, blah. Or if you just want to say good morning or hi, That's what that inbox is for. That inbox is not for you to send me any screenshots of what any other content creator has said. I don't care what any other content creator is saying. I'm not connected to any other content creator, and no other content creator is connected to me. This is my platform. I run it how I want to run it. I don't care what nobody else talking about. Don't send it to me. Now, I'm going to give it one last chance. Now, if somebody else sends me anything else that anybody is doing that I'm uninterested in regarding any drama, because I'm separating myself from that, let them have that. Me, I'm moving on up, and I want to talk about things that other people actually know about. When you tune into my channel, or if somebody tunes into my channel that doesn't even know who I am on my platform, they don't know about all of these people that I'm ranting and raving about. And then that's a view that I'm going to lose, or a potential subscriber that I could lose. Nobody cares about that stuff. People want to hear about entertainment news, true crime, and stuff like that. Nobody cares about going back and forth with these folk online. So that's what I'm doing. And I would hope that you guys can respect that. I did just get an inbox with some drama. I'm not trying to bust anybody out, which is why I'm not going to obviously say your name. But once again, and this is the last time that I'm going to say it, if I have to say it again, I'm going to start blocking people on Facebook. If you send me anything else regarding any drama, regarding another content creator, whether I like them or not, I'm going to block you. I don't want it in my cipher. I don't want to hear it. So send it to me, you're going to get blocked. Sorry. Nothing personal. But I have to protect my mental health. I have to protect my platform. And I know where I want to go with this. And I know what my potential is. So I cannot participate in that anymore. Now, for those who do want to continue to taint their platforms with going back and forth with other content creators every day, let them do that. I don't know these folks. These folks don't know me. So I'll be moving on. I'll be moving on. And I ain't going to say it no more. And I'm not going to say it no more. And I ain't going to say it no more. Don't send it to me. And I mean that. I don't care how bad it is. Who say what, how I say it. Do not send it to me. I don't want to hear it. Now, thank y'all for joining me tonight. If y'all didn't hit that like button, please make sure that you hit the like button on the way out, because that really does help me getting into the algorithm, the likes on my videos, and obviously the shares. Make sure that you hit the notification bell. If you're new here and you haven't already, because I do have some new subs, make sure you hit the notification bell so that you can be notified when I go live or post content. And don't forget to subscribe. Okay, love y'all. Peace.